Beyond the postcards of flamenco dancers and bullfighting rings lies a Spain that most travelers never discover. A land where ancient civilizations left behind architectural marvels that defy explanation. Where entire villages are painted blue for reasons lost to time, where cave paintings created 40,000 years ago still whisper secrets of humanity's earliest artists, and where modern cities pulse with an energy that somehow honors both their Moorish past and their cosmopolitan future. This documentary peels back the tourist veneer to reveal the Spain that Spaniards themselves cherish, the hidden valleys where medieval traditions survive unchanged, the coastal towns where fishermen still follow rhythms established by Phoenician traders, the mountain monasteries that have preserved knowledge through centuries of conquest and reconquest, and the vibrant neighborhoods where life unfolds in ways that challenge everything we think we know about work, family, and happiness. Spain has been sold to the world as a destination, a place to visit, photograph, and leave. But Spain is not a destination. It is a revelation. It is a country that forces you to question your assumptions about time, about community, about what it means to live well. In an era when the world feels increasingly homogenized, when every city begins to look like every other city, Spain remains defiantly, magnificently itself. This is not a story about where to go in Spain. This is a story about what Spain can teach us about being human. At a moment when travelers are seeking authenticity over Instagram moments, when people are questioning the work-life balance that defines modern existence, and when cultural preservation battles against globalization, Spain offers profound answers. This documentary matters because it challenges the superficial narratives we've been fed about this country and invites viewers to see Spain as Spaniards see it, not as a museum of its own past, but as a living, breathing example of how ancient wisdom and modern vitality can coexist. Through Spain's story, we explore universal questions. How do we preserve tradition without becoming trapped by it? How do we embrace progress without losing our identity? How do we build communities that actually sustain human happiness? Spain has been asking and answering these questions for thousands of years, and the world is finally ready to listen. Historical foundation, Spain's magic begins with its extraordinary historical complexity. The Iberian Peninsula has been continuously inhabited for over 1.2 million years, with Homo antecessor remains found in Atapuerca being among the oldest human fossils in Europe. The cave of Altamira contains Paleolithic paintings dated to approximately 36,000 years ago, representing some of humanity's earliest artistic expressions. The region saw successive waves of Phoenicians, 1100 BCE, Greeks, 800 BCE, Carthaginians, 575 BCE, Romans, 218 BCE, Visigoths 415 CE, and Moors 711 CE. This layering of civilizations is not just historical trivia, it's the foundation of Spain's cultural DNA. Unlike nations that experienced cultural erasure, Spain absorbed and synthesized these influences. The result is visible everywhere. In the Roman aqueduct of Segovia, still standing after 2,000 years, in the Alhambra's Islamic geometric perfection, in the Gothic Moorish fusion of Seville's cathedral, in the very vocabulary of Spanish that contains thousands of Arabic words. The Moorish Golden Age. Between 711 and 1492, Al-Andalus, Muslim Spain, represented one of history's great cultural flowerings. While much of Europe languished in what we call the Dark Ages, Cordoba became the most advanced city in Europe, with street lighting, running water, public libraries, and a population of 500,000. The Great Mosque of Cordoba housed a library of 400,000 volumes, when most European monasteries possessed fewer than 100 books. Moorish Spain pioneered advances in mathematics, introducing the concept of zero to Europe. Medicine, performing the first documented cataract surgeries, astronomy, agriculture, introducing irrigation systems still used today, and philosophy. The convivencia, the coexistence of Muslims, Christians, and Jews, created an intellectual environment where scholars of all faiths collaborated on translations of Greek and Roman texts, preserving classical knowledge that would later fuel the Renaissance. This isn't romantic mythology, it's documented history that fundamentally shaped Western civilization. Architectural impossibilities. Spain contains some of Europe's most enigmatic structures. The Sagrada Familia, Antoni Gaudí's unfinished masterpiece in Barcelona, has been under construction since 1882. Using mathematical models found in nature, hyperbolic paraboloids, helicoids, hyperboloids, Gaudí created a structure so complex that only modern computer modeling has made its completion possible. Expected to finish around 2026, it will have taken 144 years to build. The stone forests of Gaudí's vision contain no straight lines, no right angles, only the flowing forms found in trees, bones, and waves. Meanwhile, the prehistoric monument of Dolmen de Menga in Antequera, built around 3700 BCE, consists of stones weighing up to 180 tons, moved and positioned with technology that still puzzles archaeologists. The structure is astronomically aligned with perfect precision, suggesting sophisticated astronomical knowledge predating Stonehenge by centuries. Regional diversity. Spain comprises 17 autonomous communities, each with distinct culture, often distinct language, and fiercely protected identity. Catalonia speaks Catalan, a Romance language as different from Spanish as Portuguese. The Basque Country speaks Euskera, a language isolate, unrelated to any other known language on Earth, a linguistic mystery that suggests the Basques are descendants of pre-Indo-European peoples who inhabited Europe before the Great Migrations. Galicia in the northwest feels more like coastal Ireland than Mediterranean Spain, with bagpipes, Celtic traditions, and a language closer to Portuguese than Spanish. Andalusia in the south pulses with the African and Arab influences of its 800-year Moorish history. This isn't mere regional variation. These are fundamentally different cultures sharing a nation, creating tension and richness in equal measure. The Spanish paradox. Spain simultaneously ranks among Europe's leaders in life expectancy, 83.5 years, fourth highest in the world, maintains one of the continent's most relaxed attitudes toward work, with afternoon siestas still common in smaller towns, dinner often served at 10 p.m., and Sunday as sacred family time, yet struggles with 11.6% unemployment and youth unemployment above 25%. Spaniards spend more time socializing with friends and family than almost any other nationality, an average of 6 hours per week compared to 3 hours for Americans. The Spanish concept of sobremesa, the time spent at the table after eating, talking, laughing, connecting, has no direct translation in English because the practice barely exists in Anglo cultures. Studies show that Spaniards report higher life satisfaction than citizens of wealthier nations. Suggesting that the Spanish have figured out something about happiness that GDP cannot measure. Hidden Spain. Beyond Barcelona and Madrid lies a Spain few tourists see. Ronda, perched on a 120-meter gorge in Andalusia, was the birthplace of modern bullfighting and inspired Ernest Hemingway's descriptions of Spanish romance and violence. The white villages of Andalusia, Frigiliana, Mijas, Huáscar, the Smurf village, painted entirely blue in 2011 for a Sony promotion and kept that way by popular demand, cling to mountainsides in arrangements that have changed little since Moorish times. In Galicia, the Horos, raised granaries, dot the countryside, uniquely designed structures found nowhere else. The Camino de Santiago, the medieval pilgrimage route to Santiago de Compostela, still draws 300,000 walkers annually, many seeking spiritual experience in a secular age. In Extremadura, the region that produced the conquistadors who conquered the Americas, Roman ruins stand in fields grazed by the black Iberian pigs, whose ham, jamón ibérico, is among the world's most prized foods. Culinary revolution. Spain has transformed from culinary underdog to global gastronomic powerhouse. The country boasts the third most Michelin-starred restaurants in the world, after France and Japan. The Basque Country has more Michelin stars per capita than anywhere on Earth. Ferran Adria's now-closed El Bulli was named the world's best restaurant 5 times and pioneered molecular gastronomy. But Spain's food revolution isn't just haute cuisine, it's the preservation and elevation of ancient traditions. The pinchos bars of San Sebastian, the mercados of Madrid's La Latina neighborhood, the beachside chiringuitos serving grilled sardines, the hidden taverns of Seville where sherry flows like water. These represent food culture as community ritual. Spanish cuisine reflects the country's history. Saffron from the Moors, tomatoes from the Americas, salted cod from centuries of Atlantic fishing, olive oil that the Romans first pressed. Every dish tells a story of conquest, trade, survival, and joy. Festivals and traditions. Spain hosts over 3,000 festivals annually. La Tomatina sees 20,000 people throw 150,000 tomatoes at each other in the streets of Buñol. Las Fallas in Valencia burns massive artistic monuments worth millions of euros in ceremonial fires. Semana Santa, Holy Week, features processions where penitents in pointed hoods carry religious statues through streets in rituals unchanged since the 16th century. Running of the bulls in Pamplona, despite controversy, continues as it has since medieval times, with participants seeking what they describe as spiritual transcendence through proximity to death. These aren't tourist shows. These are living traditions that define community identity. In remote villages, festivals banned during Franco's dictatorship have been revived by young people determined to preserve cultural memory. There are countries you visit, and countries that visit you back, long after you've left. Spain is the latter. You arrive expecting flamenco and sangria, bullfights and beaches, the Spain of 1,000 tourist brochures. But if you're fortunate, if you're paying attention, you'll discover another Spain entirely. A Spain that existed long before the postcards and will exist long after. This is the Spain that lives in the hearts of those who call it home. The Spain of morning markets, where vendors have sold the same vegetables in the same spots for 40 years. The Spain of mountain villages, where time moves to different rhythms. The Spain where 3,000 years of history don't just echo through ruins, but pulse through every conversation, every meal, every sunset watched from ancient walls. This is the Spain that most travelers never see because they're too busy looking for the Spain they were told to expect. But once you see it, truly see it, it changes you. Because Spain doesn't just occupy a peninsula on the edge of Europe, it occupies a different way of being human. And that Spain, the magical Spain, the real Spain, that's the Spain we're about to discover. To understand Spain, you must first understand time. Not the time of minutes and hours, but the time of millennia and ages. The deep time that shaped this land into something utterly unique. 1.2 million years ago, the earliest Europeans walked these mountains. Their bones lie in the Atapuerca site, the richest source of human fossils on the continent. 36,000 years ago, as ice sheets covered much of Europe, artists descended into the cave of Altamira and painted the ceiling with images so sophisticated, so alive, that when they were discovered in 1879, experts declared them forgeries. No primitive humans, they insisted, could create such beauty. They were wrong. Those hands that mixed pigments and painted by torchlight, those were human hands, like ours, with the same capacity for wonder, for meaning-making, for leaving something beautiful behind. Fast forward 33,000 years. The Romans arrive. For 600 years, they rule Hispania, and they build to last. The aqueduct at Segovia, constructed around 50 AD, still stands. Not a single gram of mortar holds those 20,000 tons of granite together. Only physics. Only the understanding that if you cut stone precisely enough, if you stack it with perfect alignment, it will outlast empires. And it has. Rome fell. The Western Empire crumbled. Languages changed, religions rose and fell, but the aqueduct remains, carrying memory across centuries. In 711, Moorish armies crossed the Strait of Gibraltar and changed Spain forever. For nearly 800 years, Islamic civilization flourished here, creating what may have been the most advanced society in Europe. Cordoba, the capital of Al-Andalus, became the brightest jewel in the medieval world. While London and Paris wallowed in mud and darkness, Cordoba had street lighting, public libraries, running water in every home. The Great Mosque could hold 40,000 worshippers beneath columns that seemed to multiply into infinity. The library housed 400,000 volumes, when most European monasteries possessed fewer books than you have on your shelf. But the miracle wasn't just the architecture or the books. It was the conviviencia, the coexistence. Muslims, Christians, and Jews lived side by side, argued, traded, collaborated, married. The great philosopher Maimonides, a Jew, wrote in Arabic, studied Greek philosophy, and worked as physician to the Muslim sultan. Scholars translated Aristotle and Plato, preserving knowledge that Christian Europe had lost or destroyed. They advanced mathematics, introducing the concept of zero. They performed the first cataract surgeries. They created star maps that guided Columbus to the Americas. When people speak of Spain's magic, this is its deepest root, this blending of civilizations, this proof that different cultures can create something greater than the sum of their parts. Then, in 1492, it ended. The Catholic monarchs completed the Reconquista. Muslims and Jews were expelled or converted. In the northwest, Galicia feels more like coastal Ireland, green, wet, mystical, its language closer to Portuguese than Spanish, its people descended from Celts who played the bagpipes long before tourism made it trendy. In the northeast, Catalonia speaks Catalan, publishes in Catalan, thinks in Catalan, and will politely but firmly correct you if you call their language a dialect. Its capital, Barcelona, is Spain's most cosmopolitan city, yet its heart beats with a nationalism that has sparked constitutional crisis. And then there is Euskal Herria, the Basque country, where people speak Euskara, a language that predates the Indo-European migrations, a language unrelated to any other tongue on Earth. Linguists call it an isolate, an orphan language, evidence that the Basques have lived in these mountains since before recorded history began. During Franco's dictatorship, when regional languages were banned, when speaking Basque could get you imprisoned, grandmothers taught children in secret. The language survived because identity survives, because some things cannot be conquered by force. Today, Basque is thriving, taught in schools, spoken in streets, proof that cultural memory is stronger than political power. This is the Spain tourists never see, because it cannot be seen in a weekend. It can only be felt, slowly, by paying attention to the pride in a Catalan shopkeeper's voice, the way Galicians talk about the sea as if it were a relative, the silent strength of Basque fishermen who have worked these same waters for 10,000 years. But beneath the regional differences, beneath the political tensions, there is something shared, something that makes Spain, Spain. Walk into any small town at 6 p.m. The streets that were empty all afternoon suddenly fill. Elderly couples take their evening paseo, their stroll, arm in arm, at a pace that prioritizes conversation over destination. Teenagers gather in the plaza. Families emerge for tapas, moving from bar to bar, not to get drunk, but to graze, to talk, to be together. The Spanish have a word, tertulia. It means a regular social gathering of friends who meet to discuss ideas, to argue about football or politics, to laugh, to live. These tertulias happen in cafes that have hosted them for 100 years. In Spain, life happens in public. Community is not concept, it is the water they swim in. And maybe this is the real magic. Maybe this is what we've lost in our efficient, isolated modern lives. The Spanish know something we've forgotten, that happiness is not found in productivity, in accumulation, in individual achievement. It's found in these slow evenings, in these endless meals, in the presence of others. In Spain, success is measured not by what you accomplish, but by how well you live. In 1882, a 30-year-old architect took over a failing church project in Barcelona. His name was Antoni Gaudí, and he would spend the next 43 years, the rest of his life, working on a building that still isn't finished. The Sagrada Familia is many things: cathedral, sculpture, mathematical proof, fever dream. It is a forest made of stone, where columns branch like trees and light filters through leaves of stained glass. It is nature's geometry made manifest, every curve derived from forms Gaudí observed in shells and bones and flowing water. No straight lines, no right angles, only the logic of organic growth. Gaudí understood something that modern architecture forgot, that the most structurally sound forms are the ones nature perfected over millions of years. Perhaps by 2026, perhaps later, Gaudí himself said, "My client is not in a hurry," referring to God. The towers will finally reach their planned heights, the tallest just 1 meter shorter than Montjuic Hill, because Gaudí believed no human work should surpass God's creation. When Gaudí died in 1926, hit by a tram, so few people recognized the disheveled old man that he received a pauper's burial. Only later did they realize Barcelona had lost its greatest son. Today, the Sagrada Familia receives over 4.5 million visitors annually, but numbers cannot capture what it feels like to stand inside this space, to watch colored light move across stone, to feel utterly small and utterly part of something vast. This is architecture as prayer, stone as sermon, human craft in service of the transcendent. If the Sagrada Familia is about reaching toward heaven, the Alhambra is about creating heaven on earth. Built in the mid-13th century by the Nasrid dynasty, the last Muslim kingdom in Spain, the Alhambra represents the pinnacle of Islamic architecture in Europe. But calling it architecture feels inadequate. It is a poem carved in stone and tile, a mathematical meditation, a garden that blurs the boundary between built and grown. The name comes from the Arabic Alhambra, the red castle, after the iron-rich clay of the walls. But inside, red gives way to white carved stucco, so delicate it looks like lace. Every surface is inscribed with poetry verses from the Quran, praises to the sultans who built this place, and everywhere, one phrase repeated: "There is no victor but God." The geometry is not decorative whimsy. Islamic tradition prohibits depicting living beings, so artists turn to mathematics as their canvas, creating patterns based on sophisticated geometric principles. These tile works, which seem endlessly varied, are actually based on just a handful of fundamental shapes, repeated and rotated according to rules that wouldn't be formally understood by Western mathematics until the 20th century. The Moors essentially discovered quasi-crystalline geometry 700 years before crystallographers. But the real genius is how the palace creates experience. How water, precious, sacred water, flows through channels in the floor, creating sound, reflection, coolness in the desert heat. This is architecture that engages all senses. You don't just see the Alhambra, you hear it in the bubbling fountains. You smell it in the jasmine of the General Life gardens. You feel it in the cool air and smooth tiles. And if you're quiet, if you're open, you sense the presence of all those who walked these halls before. The Alhambra survived by inches. After the Reconquista, parts were demolished to build a Renaissance palace. Centuries of neglect followed. During the Napoleonic Wars, French troops used it as a barracks and tried to blow it up when they retreated. It was only saved by a disabled soldier who defused the charges. Washington Irving's 1832 book, Tales of the Alhambra, sparked European fascination and probably saved it from complete ruin. In Bilbao, the Guggenheim Museum is not just a building, but an economic miracle. Its 1997 opening revitalized an entire region, creating what economists call the Bilbao effect, proof that bold architecture can transform civic fortune. But the architecture that moves me most is simpler. The white villages of Andalusia, where houses are painted with lime to reflect heat, their pots of red geraniums the only color against the white. The stone oreos of Galicia, raised granaries with slits for air and crosses to ward off evil, designs refined over centuries for one purpose, keeping grain dry in a wet climate. The cave houses of Gaudí, where people still live underground, not from poverty, but because these homes stay cool in summer, warm in winter, and have sheltered families for generations. This is architecture as cultural memory, as adaptation, as the accumulated wisdom of how to live in a specific place. And that might be the real lesson of Spanish architecture. To understand Spain, you must understand food, not as fuel, not as entertainment, but as the center around which life revolves. The Spanish don't eat to live. They live to eat. Walk through any market in Spain, and there are markets everywhere, ancient buildings converted into temples of produce, and you'll see something that barely exists in modern supermarkets, a relationship between buyer and seller. The woman buying tomatoes knows the vendor's name, his children's names, probably his dog's name. She doesn't grab and go. She examines, she asks where they're from. She trusts his recommendation because he has never steered her wrong, and his father before him never steered her mother wrong. The sobremesa, the time spent at the table after the meal is finished, is considered as important as the meal itself. In America, we eat to be done. In Spain, they eat to begin. Dinner at 10 p.m. is not late, it's when the day finally slows enough to savor. And meals last hours not because the service is slow, but because rushing a meal is like rushing a sunset. Technically possible, but missing the entire point.